The book that we are reading today is called Tall, Tall Tree. Try to get that without the glare. There we go. Tall, Tall Tree by Anthony D. Fredericks. And if we take a look at this cover, we can see we've got some people down here, and they are indeed standing next to a very tall, tall tree. In the comments, you can let me know, let us know. Have you ever seen a tree as tall as these? And if you have, what were those kind of trees called? Do you remember what those trees were called? We might find out in this book. Okay, so the way is a letter at the start that is from an owl. So I'll go ahead and read this letter from the owl as we get started. So we can see our owl here. Here we go. So the letter says, "Dear humans, I live at the top of a tree, a tall, tall tree. My tree is a redwood, one of the tallest trees in the world." So that's what those trees are called, right? Redwoods. Redwoods are higher than many buildings. That's really tall, right? The tree is where I find my food. It's also where I sleep and raise my family. It's where I hide from animals who want to catch me. So predators want to catch prey animals, and the owl hides in those redwood trees to stay safe. There are lots of other animals who live up here too. Some live here their entire lives. Some just visit for a little while, and some come and go throughout the year. Yet, for a long time, scientists didn't know where we lived. They didn't think we could live so high. This was our hidden world. That's a really neat idea, isn't it? A hidden world. Finally, people learned how to climb these tall trees. When they did, they discovered us. Imagine their surprise. They also learned something new because we live so high. Sometimes our weather up here is different than your weather down there. Isn't that amazing? I think that is amazing. So welcome to our special place, our redwood tree. There are lots of amazing things to discover here, a lot to learn. By learning more, you can help us save and protect our fragile ecosystem. And we could sure use your help. In fact, we'll count on it. Wisely yours, the northern spotted owl. So I'll show you that owl. So that owl wrote us a letter, and that owl mentioned the idea of an ecosystem. So what is an ecosystem? It's a place where plants and animals are living, where we can find lots of different species of plants and animals. And at the end of the letter, the owl said they could count on it. So I think we might be counting some things in those redwood trees as we read Tall, Tall Tree together. So you can see we're starting out here, and this image is the same one that was on our cover, and we can see those people there, right? Standing with those tall, tall trees. And we start out creeping, hopping, zipping throughout the redwoods green are many different creatures who are very seldom seen. They live among the branches, high in this tall, tall tree. Insects, birds, and mammals. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. So let's see what kinds of insects and birds and mammals we can find in those redwoods. 1. A single soaring eagle against a sky of blue searches for his dinner, and now comes, I think it might be number 2, but before we get to number 2, let's take a look. So we have our trees there, and then if we come over here, you can see the illustration of that bird, right? Oh, try to get it. There we go. Yeah. So we can see a soaring eagle, just one of them. But now comes number 2. 2 brown and spotted owls nest in the canopy, carrying food to babies. we can see we're talking about those owls again, and they're bringing food to babies. Can we see what the owl's food is there? It's in one of the owl's mouths. I may not recognize that animal exactly, but kind of looks like a small mammal. So the owl is eating prey, something that it caught. So carrying food to babies, and now comes number 3. And this time we're saying 3 climbing salamanders above the forest floor hunt for tiny insects. And now comes, it's probably going to be number 4, right? I think so. But let's take a look. So, that doesn't look like a salamander to me. It almost looks like there's a different kind of animal on this page too. Another kind of small mammal. But we can see some of our salamanders, huh? So we can see those salamanders climbing in our artwork. I don't know that I would see those salamanders climbing from far away. They almost look like they're blending in or camouflaging to their environment really well. Okay, so once again, 3 climbing salamanders above the forest floor hunt for tiny insects. And now comes number 4. And on number 4, we're saying 4 busy woodpeckers, in order to survive, are storing all their acorns. And now comes, what do you think? Number 5, I think. I think number 5 is coming next. But let's take a look at those woodpeckers first. So there they are, a woodpecker flying with an acorn in its mouth. There's our text again. You can see the woodpeckers closer up. And that almost looks like some kind of insect nest or casing beside that woodpecker, right? Might want to try to figure out what that is. So we can see those woodpeckers. They're black and white and red. They're eating acorns. But let's get to number 5. 5 furry wood rats darting in the sticks, dining on some juicy plants. And now comes, maybe it's going to be number 6, right? But let's take a look at our wood rats. So we've been seeing some mammals on these pages, but now we know these little mammals are called wood rats. And they're darting in the sticks. So we can see one that's gone headfirst into the sticks, and we can only see their back end and their long tail. Kind of look like mice or rats. Pretty cute, right? Very soft and furry and fluffy. And there were 5 furry wood rats. So let's find what we've got 6 of. 6 chattering chipmunks in this treetop heaven dash, dart, and scamper. And now comes number 7 is probably what's coming up next. But let's take a look at our chattering chipmunks. In the art here, I see a chipmunk. That's the mammal, the one with the fur and the tail. But I see something else beside it that's definitely not a chipmunk, right? What do we think that animal might be? Something to think about. So many different kinds of animals living together in this ecosystem. We can see those chipmunks there. There. High up in those trees. And the book says that they're chattering. Can you make a chattering sound? What do you think a chipmunk sounds like? I'm pretending to listen. Very good. So we had 6 chattering chipmunks. And now let's find out what's on number 7. 7 busy bumblebees zig and zag and wait. They flash in black and yellow. And now comes number 8. I bet it's going to be number 8 coming up next. But here we've got 7 busy bumblebees. So let's take a closer look at them. So we can see them. 1, 2, 3. Different kinds of plants. 4, 5, 6. My goodness, we've got 7 of them all told somewhere in this picture. That's pretty neat, isn't it? So I can count them all, and they're by those plants, maybe looking for flowering plants so that they can help to pollinate in their ecosystem. And we had 7 bumblebees. So let's find out what we have 8 of. Oh, this one's exciting. I like this one. 8 sleeping bats roosting in a line, waiting for the moon to rise. And now comes number 9, I bet, right? But that's really neat. So we're saying we have 8 sleeping bats, and they're waiting for the moon to rise. Because these 8 sleeping bats, we can see them here, these animals want to be active at nighttime. And so we call them nocturnal. They're really active at night. There were 8 of them all sleeping together. And oh my goodness, there's another animal in the drawing as well. Can you see that? What does that animal look like? Does it look familiar to you at all? This one right here? If it looks familiar, you can write in the comments what you think that one might be. That one isn't a bat, and it looks like it's awake too, so it might not be nocturnal. Let's find out what we have 9 of. 9 banana slugs, yellow slimy, then they slide around the tree, and now comes number 10. It's probably going to be number 10 up next, but let's take a look at these 9 banana slugs. You can see them here. Now, here in Los Angeles, where the Natural History Museum is, I don't know that I've ever seen banana slugs out and about, but up in Northern California, where they do have those beautiful redwood trees and this ecosystem that we're taking a look at today, slugs like this can be found. It's pretty neat, right? Why do you think they might be called banana slugs? Do you think it's because they like to eat bananas? Do you think it's because they're the same color as bananas? Do you think they were a different kind of slug, but then they ate so many bananas that they started to kind of look like a banana? I don't know. Write your thoughts into the comment section. Might be a fun conversation to have, right? Why is something called a banana slug? Okay, number 10. 10 spotted ladybugs on teeny tiny feet crawl along the needles, but our story's not complete. We're saying we have 10 spotted ladybugs. And you know, I would say these ladybugs are not very well camouflaged, are they? We can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my goodness. 10. One of them is flying. That's so neat. We can see that. But the colors on the ladybug are totally different than the colors on the plant, aren't they? So they're kind of a red, orangey red color, and the plant is green. So ladybugs aren't too worried about camouflaging or blending in. Now, it said our story's not complete, so let's see what happens next. Oh my goodness. So far, all the pages have been sideways. But for this one, because we're taking a look at a redwood tree, I have to turn the book this way because the tree is so tall. Can you see that? Isn't that neat? That's fun when books really kind of do something exciting and make us move the book around a little bit. So let's see what it has to say about this tall, tall tree. Many other animals sleep and eat and roam. Up in this tall, tall tree, their elevated home. The tree lives in a forest close to the foggy shore. It's a wild and magic world. Come discover and explore. Well, that is really neat, isn't it? We can see they mentioned fog. Looks misty and foggy and very cool. And then that tall, tall tree with some interesting vocab words, right? So we can think about, what does it mean to be elevated? Does that mean it's really up high? And then we say close to a foggy shore. Shores are where water meets the land, right? So a shore might be at a lake or a river or even an ocean. It says it's a wild and magic world. Come discover and explore. And that is the end of our story, but there is so much more to explore and discover about these tall, tall trees and the ecosystem and all the animals that live there, right? And this book has interesting facts and information at the back, which is really cool. And I really like it points out what some of those hidden animals were that we were seeing on pages, right? And I'm going to pick one because I was very interested in what that first furry mammal was that didn't belong on the page that was being talked about. And it says here that one was a northern flying squirrel. This type of squirrel doesn't really fly. It glides from tree to tree going as far as 50 yards. That's half a football field. But on the ground, they are very clumsy walkers. So that's kind of neat, right? That critter is really good at soaring and almost flying, but not really flying. But on land, they're very clumsy. So they have different adaptations based on the environment that they live in. So if they're high up in the trees, they're not walking on the ground too much. So they don't have to worry about being clumsy. You can let us know in the comments if you yourself are kind of clumsy. Sometimes I am, and it's okay. But maybe like that squirrel, I'm better suited at doing other types of things, right? So maybe I might be a little clumsy, but maybe I'm really good at drawing, or maybe I'm really good at singing, or different kinds of stuff, right? So you can let us know if you're clumsy, and you can also let us know if you have any special skills like that flying squirrel. And we can see that squirrel once again back on the 3 salamander page, hanging out, part of that bigger, complex, elevated ecosystem high up in those tall, tall trees. Well, that has brought us to the end of our book and the end of our program, Storytime Live. This video will be posted on Facebook, so if you'd like to go back and check it out, you absolutely may. My name is Val, and it's been a pleasure reading this book with you today. I hope that you have a great rest of your Friday. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day.